It's 5:32. We'll call the meeting to order. If you would join us for invocation and flag salute.
Let's pray. Lord, we come to you thanking you for this opportunity to come together to improve our community. Please bless our citizens and city leadership and give this community guidance and understanding in all matters discussed. In your name, amen.
Would you please stand for a salute, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Newsom? Whitney Kerr? Here. Clint Horner?
Here.
Vice Chairman Knight?
Here.
Chairman Jackson?
Here. First order of business is consent items. 1A, consideration and approval of minutes as of June 3rd, 2025.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr?
Yes.
Commissioner Horner?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight?
Yes.
Chairman Jackson?
Yes. 3A, under public hearing, is consideration and possible approval of replat for property located at East Mulberry Street and Northeast 2nd Avenue. We appreciate you filling in today. Thanks.
Yeah, my name's Taylor. I'm one of the building inspectors. As you know, Paul normally does this, but I'm just filling in, so bear with me. But yes, consider a request from the property owner to replat the property located at southeast corner of East Mulberry Street and Northeast 2nd. And then staff recommendation. Staff has recommended approval of the replat. All zoning requirements are met. We have seen a jump in land usage in the area for duplexes.
Any questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Would you like to speak?
I don't need to speak. What's happening?
Is there anybody who would like to speak for or against? Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr?
Yes.
Commissioner Horner?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight?
Yes.
Chairman Jackson?
Yes. 3B is consideration and possible approval of final plat for property located near Linden Woods Drive. Thank you.
Yes, so this, for my notes here, this is just the requesting approval of the final plat. No changes have been made from the approved preliminary plat. All infrastructure has been installed and approved. The only difference here is that they would have included the area that would have been Phase 8 to be platted. Staff recommendation approval of the final plat.
Could you say that last part one more time?
Oh, staff recommends approval of the final plat.
Yeah, the part where you said, but there was a change.
No changes. I'm sorry. 1 second here. If they've included the area that would have been Phase 8 to be platted into, it's just part of the Phase 7 here now. So there's no changes from the preliminary plat that was already approved.
Except for what was going to be Phase 8? I'm not.
Green space, yes.
So have the dimensions of the plat changed, I guess is what I'm,
Not that I know of. It should be the same as the preliminary for Phase 7.
Is the applicant present? Can you speak to the change?
Thomas Tibbetts, Express Development. I think what he's trying to say is our Phase 8, which is that Lot 2, we had funding for it, but due to the water, we decided to hold off and wait, I think about 6 months, and then reapply for that. So the Lot 2 is now separate from Lot 1, I would assume.
So you're asking for approval for the Lot 1, not Lot 2?
I believe it's all included in the plat, and it's just Lot 2 that doesn't have, there's no street or anything, so it dead ends at that north spot.
So the
road
request
goes
is,
up and loops around.
the request is to approve them together?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we don't have to go through it.
but this is different from the preliminary, is the point I was trying to make earlier.
I'm not sure if technically, each phase has its own owner, so it would have to been separate anyways. So I don't know, it should have been the same, I guess is what I'm saying. We just didn't actually build the Lot 2, where we anticipated to build.
Yeah, I understand that part.
So as far as I understand, this was all separated just the same, we're just doing it one plat with 2 lots.
So the Lot 2, does it have the street already paved
No.
and, okay, but it does on 1?
Yeah.
Any other questions for the applicant? Is there anyone who want to speak for or against? As a matter of discussion, I'm going to pose the question, are we able to approve the Lot 2 portion, being that streets and those things have not been built?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Taylor, I see where staff signed off. The department heads all signed off on this, or the ones who reviewed. Were they reviewing Lot 1 and 2? I mean, are we all looking at the same thing?
So yes, there's this department head sign-off signature here. Should have been for the original approval of the final plat of Phase 7. And to my understanding, the Phase 8 green space is just being combined in with that due to some issues with funding. So this was signed originally for the Phase 7 without the green space added, I believe. And
So
now.
the-
And it was reviewed here? Okay.
So the department heads did review the combination.
But the department had signed off on the combo 7 and 8 plat with them looking at both pieces, not just 7.
They titled it Phase 7, but it includes what was gonna be Phase 8, but now it's being presented all as Phase 7. But they still have it titled as Phase 8 due to each lot already having ownership, unless you can recorrect that issue.
Okay. So the department had signed off on a preliminary plat that has all the phases on it, correct?
Phase 7 and what is labeled as Phase 8, but is packaged as Phase 7.
I know, that's, put that aside, that's not my question. So they signed off on a preliminary plat that has all the phases on it.
No, just what is being presented tonight, plat map that you saw.
I mean, you can have pretty massive changes between a preliminary and your final. If they have signed off on this as a final with the combo, everything combined, and they actually signed off on the combo, yes, I think you can. It gets really awkward when you're combining phases and you just kind of randomly combine it at one
The
point.
applicant may be able to address more combined, because I think they've done that previously, when they already did their initial earlier phases.
So we have phases 4, 5, and 6 before this, and those were kind of the same way, where each phase has its own LLC, so we can't have phase 7 by phase 8's land, if that makes sense. So I believe we're just trying to separate the two lots with this one plat, and then calling the phase 8 is green space until we build it. Because currently there's no plans to build it yet. So then it's splitting off phase 7 from that little parcel that I guess will future be built? I don't know how to word that.
So what does that do for you?
So our funding works that phase 7 has to buy phase 7 land, and it typically has to use all that land for that project. So phases 4, 5, 6 is all split the same way, where phase 4 uses all of its land, and then phase 5 uses its. We can't cross, unless we can, but it becomes a legal nightmare. You gotta do cross-access agreements, all that. So it allows us to then buy it for phase 8 later from ourselves. Because phase 7 can't buy all of that land. So regardless, that would, either way, it'd have to be sectioned off. We originally had it slated for phase 8, but now we're not doing that yet, or may not.
So is it currently 2 lots and you're trying to combine to one? So is it currently phase 7 and phase 8 and you're trying to combine it to phase 7?
It's nothing currently. I believe our construction company or HBH owns it. So we bought the 40 acres, and I don't remember exactly how this section became portioned off, but the rear became its own lots as well, or it will be its own lots. So it's convoluted.
I'm going to go ahead and jump into the discussion item that I was going to bring up. This development is a mess every time it comes in here. And every time we say, show us the entire development, show us all the phases, so that we know an overall approach of what's going on the entire development. And every time it comes in here with just a little piece of what they're wanting to do, with no regard of what else is going on around it. I even went back, excuse me, that's something in my throat. I even went back and looked at some of our old packets, and I still can't figure out how it all ties together, especially with this new piece. So you're asking for a final on something that I don't even know how it fits into the puzzle.
So you're wanting to see all of the 40 acres?
I would love to see how all of this ties together. Yes, right now you've shown me two lots out of what are probably 50 or 60 in this entire development, but I don't know how these 2 lots, phase 7, phase 8, all phase 7, whatever you want to call it, I don't know how does that tie into the east? What's happening on the east side of that that's not shown?
That's where 4, 5, 6 are.
Okay. Is there anything happening to the west of lot 1?
We don't own that, so no. Did we buy that? Yeah.
Is it just me, or is anyone else confused as to how that fits into the whole puzzle?
have a question. So we have a sewer easement on lot 1. That's not shown any sewer on lot 2, so there's no plan for sewer on lot 2.
It goes across 10 feet over and stubs up currently. And right where you see that easement, the kind of Z's, I don't know so it goes over 10 feet and then stubs up right there for that. And then water will come off Linden Woods eventually.
Say that again.
The water will come off Linden Woods eventually. So each phase has to have its own meter too. So it'll come up there, and then the easement for the sewer goes across to the one that goes by phase 5. I think it's a 12-inch.
Is something planned to be built on lot 1 and lot 2 is gonna be green space? Is that?
Currently, yes, until we get funding for phase 8, but that's how it would go. It would just be green.
But currently, right now, if you left here today, there are plans to build on lot 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Which when we did the single family, we had to do a whole master plan for everything and showed the ingress, egress for the whole loop around where we have to redo the pond and do the emergency access.
Right.
Which I thought, I guess, clarified everything, but I guess we didn't include it in this plat approval. But in general, we've done some discussion on what we plan to do and what we kind of plan to do because we don't really know where everything's going to land with utilities or anything.
So the 30-foot easements that are shown in that upside down U shape, are those for roads or?
On the north side?
Well, it crosses lot 1 and lot 2 there.
Yeah, so that will be the left section will be for phase 7 if we do build it. Otherwise, it'll end right before, and that will be for the phase 7 building. Yeah. Linden Woods will be dedicated. The rest will be private. If it's not there. We did the same loop for the other 4, 5, 6, or similar loop, I should say.
So is the current construction that's going on out there now just due east of lot 1? Yeah. Okay.
So, this is more commentary than anything. I'm looking at our code of ordinances. Let me get the actual number. So if we're looking at section 155.044, there's a requirement that the final plat has to be in substantial compliance with the preliminary plat. In this particular case, I mean, this would be a substantial change. I don't know that would comply with our ordinances. I'm very concerned that this is a substantial change. It's not a bad change. I'm not opposed to the green space. I don't have a problem with what you're doing. It's just procedurally, I think we've got a problem here, a big problem.
Is that a separate parcel currently?
So just for clarification, phase 7, is that block 1?
Yes.
Okay, and then, so block 2 is going to be the green space. and
Yes, sir.
potentially phase 8 in the future.
Yes, sir.
So on phase 8, what was the intended preliminary plat use? What were you doing to it that's not being done today?
We were gonna have phase 8.
Well, what were you going to do to it? What was in the preliminary plat? Was there any streets? Was there any roads?
It's gonna be this, I believe, is what it was.
Okay.
'Cause I believe we applied to both at the same time, and then we pulled the one, phase 8. But it was designed to do what we did, so if we had to pull it, we could, and it not affect phase 7's.
Can you refresh my memory on what the 11-foot wide strip is on that southwest corner, that southwest side?
It's just grass right now. The neighbor has the trailer on it, but we have nothing. Like towards the.
Yeah, the little leg off the end.
Yeah. OG&E's putting it in power lines, so it'll probably be nothing for eternity. I guess just to confirm, because we will be doing more single family on the same property, for those plats, you want me to show everything each time, or just?
Yeah, I think knowing how this fits into the puzzle would be great, because
So-
going back and trying to find this from 6 months ago doesn't
No, I'd
seem to work.
to do the whole property with everything that we have currently and what we maybe have planned, and then also then just this.
I think knowing,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
having that information to see how this shape fits into everything else that you've already done or have planned
I agree.
is ideal.
Okay.
Because I mean, if this were preliminary, I would probably feel okay about saying, yeah, but knowing that this is the final, I don't feel like I have the information that I feel comfortable with to say yes.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, appreciate it. Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to deny on the basis of ordinance section 155.044, section F1. This is not substantially in conformance with the preliminary plat that we looked at, and by virtue of this, we can't approve it. I mean, so my motion is to deny it based on that section. I'm not opposed to the plan. City council can do what they want, but it doesn't technically meet our ordinances.
For the sake of our minutes, would you restate that?
Sure. So I'm
Thanks.
making a motion to deny on the basis of section 155.044, section F1, on the basis that this is not in substantial conformance with the preliminary plat.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you call for a vote, please?
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. Again, this is a recommending board. It'll go to council next week, 6 o'clock, Tuesday. 3C, consideration of possible approval of rezone for property located near Southeast First Avenue and East Main Street.
Yes, this is a rezone request, would be rezoning from I-2 to C3. Current future land use in the area shows commercial. Staff recommendations are, staff recommends approval of the replat contingent on approved variance for the frontage from the Board of Adjustments. Staff thinks commercial zoning does allow for better usage of the structure, but the lot as it sits now, I don't believe has required frontage for a commercial use. And a note on this one, the original staff report that had error. I believe what it was asking for the rezone was just a typo on the form, but the publications and the legal notifications were correct. It was just the legal, the staff reports that had been sent out, I think, within had that error, but they are correct now.
I see where Raven made the comment of sealed service parking. I assume that's just a reminder.
There
of
is already
requirement.
some present at the structure at that 101.
Can you scroll down to the next page where it's showing? Yes, thank you. So just to clarify, at the current time, everything around this is I-2, correct?
Yes, from the table here, it looks like the lots surrounding it to northwest, south, and east are all I-2 at the moment. But future land use does show commercial in the area, and I think the properties in the area that are commercial are zoned C3 as well.
Are there any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Would you like to speak? Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against? Is there any discussion?
Just general opinion, I would like to see this become C instead of I along Main Street. It just currently doesn't meet the requirements of C. Future land use shows that strip as C3, or C, I think is what they call it in the future land use, but yeah, commercial.
It's kind of a catch-22 because, I mean, everything in that vicinity right now is industrial, nothing over there. I mean, it's zone C3 relatively close to it, but it's not C3 yet. It's still very industrial, but at the same time, it will never get to the future land use map if we don't start incorporating the zoning, so.
Yeah. That was exactly my thought, we run across these every now and then, it seems like, and there's gotta be one to start. And this feels like one of those cases that it moves us towards what the future land use for that is.
I am a little bit concerned about the parking and the frontage on it for a commercial business. I mean, that seems like that might be an issue, but
Taylor, do you have any idea how big the building on that property is?
No, I don't have any square footage or anything, unfortunately.
3,000-ish?
And I will make a note, usually this is the point at which I start fussing about spot zoning. That doesn't apply in this case because of that future land use map.
Yeah. So, oh, go ahead. Well, the recommendation in the packet is that the rezoning is approved based on Board of Adjustment approval.
Is that meaning it has been approved or
No, I think
pending
the
approval?
recommendation was contingent upon, because if it was to be rezoned as C3, it does not have the required frontage that the lot would need. So I think it's, the staff recommendation said contingent on approval Board of Adjustments, to meet that frontage requirement. So, no, I don't believe that variance has been granted at this time, though.
I just don't, we haven't, I'm not saying that's not the way it should be done. It's just when we've had some of these come up before, the Board of Adjustment contingency hasn't ever been a part of that, so.
Yeah.
In my mind, the BOA may, come into play with parking variance depending on what they decide to put in that building versus a zoning contingency.
Gotcha.
Am I thinking about that correctly?
Yeah, because, I mean, what we're essentially doing is we would rezone it, but it's not gonna comply with their intended use. The Board of Adjustment may come back and say, sorry, and so there may still be a commercial use to it, but it may not be anywhere close to the commercial use they wanna use it for.
Yeah. I can refer that to Paul and other staff, but that was just what was provided to me on those staff recommendations.
For what it's worth, I would agree with, Whitney's perspective that, at some point, if we're gonna move towards the direction of future land use, we need to start somewhere.
I'll make a motion to approve to C3.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
If you would call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr?
Yes.
Commissioner Horner?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight?
Yes.
Chairman Jackson?
Yes. Three D is consideration and possible approval of rezone/replat for property located near South 3rd Avenue and West Georgia Street.
Yeah, and applicant would like to split the lot to build 2 single-family homes. Current zoning is R2. Future land use shows residential low to medium density. Staff recommendation states staff recommends approval of replat rezone. Once split, lots would conform with the surrounding lot and single-family homes. would conform with surrounding structures.
Is there any questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Would you like to speak? If you would come and state your name at the microphone for us. Thanks.
Jason Mackey. Yeah.
Is there anything?
I didn't know if you were talking about my lot. I didn't hear all of it, the address.
Yeah, we were just wanting to know if you had any comments or.
No.
Okay.
No.
Any questions for the applicant? Thanks, appreciate it. Is there anyone who wants to speak for or against? Is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. (3E) Consideration and possible approval of replat for property located near Washington Avenue and Fisherman's Lane.
Yes, states here applicant would like to replat so that every lot meets city requirements. Current zoning's R1. Staff recommends approval of the replat.
So on that, we have a, I know we're trying to rectify something that was done incorrectly to begin with.
Yeah, to my understanding, this was just some cleanup of lots in the area, bringing them into conformity with city ordinance, and
Yep.
that is the way I understood it, at least.
Is the applicant present? If you would come to the mic, state your name.
What's that?
If you would state your name for us.
Jerry Lewis.
Thank you. Do you have anything you'd like to?
Well, no, we're just basically trying to clean things up.
Okay.
We were basically afraid whoever bought the whole thing would take care of the front part, and the back part that joins us, they'd let it go to pot.
Yeah.
And so we decided to buy it, and that way we can take care of it, plant some fruit trees, pecan trees, and then do whatever else needs to be done.
It makes sense. Thank you. Is there any questions for the applicant? Thank you. Any discussion?
Did anyone want to speak against?
Thanks. Is there anyone who wants to speak for or against? Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Would you call for a vote, please?
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. Thank you. (3F) is consideration and possible approval of rezone and replat request for property located near Country Club Road and Southeast 3rd Avenue.
Yes, property located at 2525 Southeast 3rd to rezone to R1, single-family residential. Current zoning is agriculture 1 with a future land use of industrial. Staff recommendation shows staff recommends approval of replat. Staff believes an R1 single-family best fits this area and is not out of compliance with city ordinance.
Do you know the reason behind why staff thought R1 was the best?
Oh, I believe just kind of there's houses in the area, just kind of what's close to the property in that area.
Do you know if that's the zoning that the applicant originally requested?
Yes, the applicant's wanting to rezone to R1 from A1.
Any questions for staff? Ms. Kathy, did you have something to add to this?
Trace, can you put back the staff comments, the page that has the, I just wanted to comment a little bit further. Right, a little bit higher than that. Okay, so right there, I just wanted to comment and add some other picture. Unfortunately, I feel like planning and economic development did not connect on the full picture here, and so I just want to make sure that the applicant and the board has the full picture. So to the east, it's not just an empty field. That's our East Industrial Park for Durant, and we have quite a few heavy industrial in that area. The future land use for this strip, they're at 78 to the west. The future is industrial, and it's not dense houses. There are a few houses in that area, but if you're familiar with that, you've got the cemetery in the north part of Country Club Road. And I will say that the city of Durant and the state of Oklahoma has a very active project on 32 acres that the city owns right there and under a half a mile from this parcel. And we just want to make sure that everybody realizes that Durant is a very strong candidate for this. It's 350 jobs, and we are in active conversation with ODOT about expansion and adjustment and realignment of that whole intersection and the access road on that south part of 70 and the intersection at 78 and 70. So along with the current industrial activity that's happening there with the trucking, we will have that activity on Country Club Road and then that adjustment south. In addition, we also have one other current on-the-ground manufacturer in Durant that we're working on a multi-million-dollar expansion with, and it'll add a third shift and up to 100 jobs. And so the trucking and the capacity also at that intersection right there where that property is will be continue to be heavy industrial. Those sites will not relocate. And so any questions about that?
I appreciate that update.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any questions?
I have a quick question, Kathy, that you may or may not have an answer to. I know you mentioned you're working with ODOT on
Mm-hmm.
additional access there. Is there any plan for that industrial access to be along Country Club Road as well, or?
Actually, yes, as an alternative, because it'll be a fairly intensive project.
Okay.
So, and all this is preliminary, and I want to be really fair also to everybody who's here. We should know in the next 90 days whether that activity is happening or not. So this isn't, we're going to figure it out in the next 2 years. We're really close to this, and actually, if Durant is awarded, construction would start in December, and so we'd be rolling in 18 months. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Would the applicant like to speak?
I'm representing
If you'd like, come to the microphone and state your name for us.
Hi, I'm Echo Fight. I'm representing Stephanie. She couldn't be here tonight. I was unaware of the ODOT agreement because I called ODOT and asked before we redid all this plat about access and stuff, and they said that they are very firm on their 800 feet from the right away from the on-ramp to that, and they said that the infrastructure was not there for any kind of roads being built are industrial, so that's why we applied for residential zoning. So, but that was just I was just now aware of that, so, that's news to me, but we would still like to, obviously get approval for residential
Yep.
rezoning.
Thank you. And just so you're aware, we're hearing it at the same time.
Okay.
Yep.
And I want to say this on the record and echo, I did see that you were recording, so make sure you do get this too. There's no official plan with ODOT. There is we are exploring options and how the city of Durant and ODOT would have to respond if this project happened in that location. So it's our due diligence to move forward, because if we can't handle the capacity for that industrial, then we should be having a conversation about job creation in that area. So it's not official. There's no plans. There's nothing in writing. Everybody's just really examining what needs to happen there and how do we be responsible. So.
Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against?
My name is Mark Mesiti-Miller, a resident here in Durant. This parcel is zoned industrial, future zoning. It's currently zoned agricultural. When I went out there and sort of look at this property, I didn't see anything but farmhouses nearby. And in my view, the industrial zoned land in Durant is extraordinarily valuable. And if it's rezoned to agriculture, may dissuade or cause people who want to do industrial development to avoid it. And because there's the conflict that will exist between industrial uses and residential uses, I've never seen any heavy industrial uses that are real compatible with residential. And so all the land to the west of this parcel would remain industrial and could be developed by right. And that could create some conflicts in the future. So I'm not a big fan of this project. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Is there any discussion?
I'm just going to say I need to abstain on this particular case. I don't have a direct personal connection to it, but I have some information that I should not be voting on this. So.
Any other discussion?
What was the representative's name? Do you think is your client seeking R1 for a particular building purpose, or are they trying to just sell this as single-family lots?
They're just trying to sell 2 single-family lots.
Okay. Are they on one of the lots? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to keep their house. So, it's on 2.78 acres,
Yeah.
right next to the bypass.
Do you know that, I know that you guys came into this without this new information that we learned of tonight.
Yes.
Do you think your clients would entertain wanting to rezone this to industrial?
That I will have to sit down and
Sure.
talk to them.
Yeah.
I do know that we are currently under contract, waiting city approval for one of the lots
Gotcha.
as residential single home.
For a single-family home?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's the only question I have.
Do you have any comments?
My only comment would be that this seems like a better use for industrial or commercial versus residential.
I would say I have some degree of conflict in the sense, I think owners should have some right, to pursue the use that they want to. However, we have indicated through our future land use that the city is pursuing industrial use in this area. And so there's obviously a leaning that way. I also think it's worth mentioning that both to the current owner, the applicant, and buyers, that not only through our future land use map, we are indicating that we are pursuing industrial use in this area. But we have we are seeking active projects, with the state for industrial in this area. So I think the caution is, even if this were to be used as residential, it's at least to some degree likely that residence may be surrounded by industrial uses, which could have a detrimental effect not only to the area, but to homeowners. So I think as a minimum, I think there's, at least a word of caution there. And I think that's some of the hesitancy. As far as Mr. Knight's comment about, would these sellers, consider, zoning industrial. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming he's thinking of, its best and highest use, potential value in the area, especially knowing that there are plans, again, with future land use and maybe active pursuits. So I think that is at least worth a mention and discussion. Any other comments? Is there a motion?
Well, I have a question maybe for discussion. Knowing that there's the possibility that the owners of this land may change their mind from R1, is it prudent for us to table this till the next month's meeting, or so I'm curious if I think this should be industrial also. But I'm trying to look at this from the owner's perspective and being able to use their land, knowing that what's coming for this area is a pretty big conflict with residential. I'm just curious if they know what is planned for this area and is coming to this area, if that is information that would possibly change their mind on what their request is. So is that something we should look at denial on what is presented, or tabled to a specific date in the future when we may know more information, or the owners may be able to take this information into consideration? I don't know the answer. That's why I was.
Yeah, I don't know that I have the answer to that, especially with the applicant not being here to speak and without information being known. Whitney, I know you're abstaining from vote, but if you have any comments on this as procedurally, then Mr. Horner. I think just in response, one, I clearly don't have that answer. I would be more inclined to, to say that, from ag to R1 is a natural progression. We've allowed, the sellers notice of what intention is, and I would be more in favor of moving along to council, and if they want to withdraw between now and then, they certainly can.
Like I said, I'm going to bring this to, but we did know that the future land use was zoned industrial before presenting this to the city, and they did still want to proceed with residential zoning at that point. I didn't know about all of this. So I do want to inform them of that. That's why I'm not going to speak on their behalf for that. But I do want you to know that they did know that future land use was industrial zoning and still proceeded to.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think in light of any new project that may come across the table, as long as they knew ahead of time what they
Yes.
were asking for, then that was really where I was
Yes, the
trying to
city-
side with them to give them the opportunity to know that. But
Yes, the city was very,
Okay.
very, we met with the city like, what, 5 times, Brandy? So, I mean, we've talked to them and the city in depth about the future land use.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr,
Abstain.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
No. Again, this is a recommending board, so this recommendation will go to City Council, who will hear this next week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, and they'll be the ones to make the decision. I think we have one remaining. 3G, consideration and possible approval of rezone and replat for property located near West Main and Gates Avenue.
Yes, request for rezone and replat. Current zoning, there's some mixed, it's C2 and C0. Future land use shows mixed use, commercial and residential. Staff recommends approval of a replat, of the replat and the rezone. To my understanding, this is going to be combining of lots and unifying the zoning on both lots. I think there's some mixed commercial 2 and some commercial 0, and this was just going to be to tidy those up into 2 bigger lots there.
You ready for questions? So there's a road through the middle of that traveling east and west
Yes.
called Luann Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Is that already deeded to the city? What's going to happen with that road?
So from what I've heard, it is a legal city street. It's there's grass grown over it at the moment, but it is curbed and guttered.
Yeah.
So I believe it is an existing 40-foot right-of-way, and it is an existing city street.
Okay. And is the plan to, I mean, you may not know this information, but does the developer plan to keep that as a street?
I believe so, and the street will be brought to city specs, so it'll be kept the way it is, and the right-of-way would stay the same, but the street would be brought up to city specs and all that.
Is the plan for this to be one large build-out or kind of a multiple tenant build-out? Do they know that at this point?
From what we've seen and heard, there's going to be a potential project on the southern lot, Lot 1, and then there are some, in the applicants here, and correct me if I misspeak, but the northern lot, there are some potential projects, but it's not as certain. But the potential project and the movement of the store of Lock Supply would be to the southern lot, Lot 1.
Okay.
And then Luann would be used to access both of those.
My just one question or, tick mark beside Luann Drive is it's pretty grossly undersized for commercial. So I mean, if it's 40 feet, if that's what you just said. Yeah, 40 feet. And I guess that could be cleaned up in a future. But I mean, they're applying for a final plat on this, correct? Oh, well, that's what the title says. But is that what the request is?
Brandy, do you know, is this a final plat or this? I apologize for 1 second.
It doesn't say in the report, so I was just, but the page, the actual drawing says final plat. So are all the lots that we see in kind of light gray, are those the existing legal lots?
Yes, I will. In the gray, you said?
So there's a light gray in that drawing that looks like probably 8 to 10 lots there.
Yes. Yes, I believe
So are we abandoning those previously platted 10 lots into 2?
Yes, to my understanding, the request was that they be combined into one big northern lot and one big southern lot, north and south of Luann.
Is there a reason the street wouldn't be 80 feet for commercial?
From what I've been told, since it is a pre-existing street, it would stay as is, and it would just be.
Is this street developed currently?
It's curbed and guttered. It's not, a street that's accessed at the moment, but it is a curbed and guttered street.
So, and it's paved?
We're not sure. We think it has base underneath, but right now there is grass grown over it if you drive out there and look.
It really looks like someone curbed and guttered a pasture and never
Yes.
paved in between it.
It's right behind the old CPS building. It's just right back there.
My hesitancy with this being shown as a final plat is we know that will not meet the requirements of a commercial street. I love what they're trying to do here, and I feel like maybe this comes more as a preliminary plat, in my opinion, versus a final.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I think there's some adjustments that are going to have to be made depending on how they develop those sites.
Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? If you'd like to speak.
It's Jim Sargent, Lock Supply. Yes, this was, thought it was a final plat, but forgive me because I've lost all my notes. I don't know what I did with them. Spoke with someone on the cul-de-sac at the end, tying that back into 70 as one of the egress for the property. And they agreed that would give fire, everybody with that cul-de-sac already in place, it would give ample room for trucks, whatever they needed through there. The electric company's already working on moving the power lines either to Luann or to 70, whichever works better for everybody else. Our power is going to come in from the rear no matter what. So it would, lot 2 is just lot 2 for at the moment. And everybody's throwing spitballs on what we could do with lot 2. So that's just kind of out there. Lot 1 would have a 30,200 foot building pushed as far to and I'm going to get my directions wrong because Durant messes me up. As far to the east, I believe, closer to the residential, we'd push it that direction, leaving ample room down the side for any type of egress that would be necessary to serve that back lot. And we are working with the owner of the weird little shape close to the railroad tracks in the Elks Lodge. I'm not sure what that's called. We're working with someone now trying to possibly even take that just to make that cleaner. It's kind of useless property, the way it sits with the easements for the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
That would allow us to widen Luann as it throats in, if we could get that, so.
So is the idea that the Luann, where it hits that current cul-de-sac, would turn south towards 70?
Correct.
As a street or just as a?
Just a form of egress
drive?
across the parking lot.
Okay.
Most of that would end up being paved.
Mhm.
Not all of it. We're gonna try to leave as much green space as possible. But we'll end up with two forms of egress, one close to where the billboard is on the lower right-hand corner, and then another egress out onto 70, relatively close to where it shows now. But it would be such a width that anything could drive through there. You know, you could move windmills through there if you wanted to, I guess, but it's, like I said, the back lot though is still out in the air as to what it would be. It would, for right now, it's just gonna get cleaned up and get rid of the, I hate to sound negative, the little homeless camp that's living back there now.
Yeah.
And it'll just be sodded grass for the near future, so.
Any other questions for the applicant?
You guys currently own all the property?
Yes.
That is 8 to 10 lots or whatever that is now?
Yeah, it's the 8 or 10 lots on the bottom and 1 lot on the top, on lot 2
okay.
now. So it's, I think it's 11 lots total. And it'll bring in, talk about bringing in jobs, it'll bring in about 5 jobs once we're done. So, 5 more than what we already have.
So this is the new store location?
Correct.
Is that what, that's what that's
Moving
planned for?
from where we're at now,
From where
next
you're at
to
now.
Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
They're actually in process of trying to buy that property, so.
Gotcha.
Which is gonna clean that mess up, cause that's an old building. It needs some work.
Needs a little overhaul.
Yeah.
Do we have a limit that, sorry, this is towards you. Do we have a time period on preliminary plats?
2 years?
2 years? Am I thinking about it too much?
No.
I mean, I think they're gonna come here in 2 years or whenever they decide to build, and we're gonna redo this again.
The original concept was storage buildings in the rear on lot 2. We have some mixed feelings internally on doing, that's something we've never done. Ideally, I see, this is just my perspective, no, it's not the company. I see that lot being sold possibly in the future, but on our board, we have 7-member board, and 5 of them want the storage buildings at some point, somewhere, maybe not here, but they wanna try it. It works well with our customer base. You know, the industrial customers, they need a place to store their material, and this works really well if we can deliver it across the street.
Do you guys think you would be open to giving the greater right-of-way on Luann Drive?
Possibly.
So it would be like taking another 20 feet from each lot 1 and 2.
Right.
If we were to increase that to an 80-foot right-of-way that we require for commercial roads.
The only hiccup there would be that corner lot if we don't get that purchased. Yeah, I'm not gonna build someone else a road.
I completely agree with you there.
Right.
Yeah.
If we can get that done, I mean, that lot is actually useless. It is, I mean, I don't wanna call it useless, all land's good, but, with the railroad easement and the noise right there, you know, I can't think of any business that wants to be there, except us. You know, for whatever reason, we like railroad tracks. But yeah, we were already discussing widening the road a little bit. The curb and gutter is in place. It's old, and I'm sure once we clear the grass, we're gonna find that most of it's gonna need to be replaced either way.
Yeah, I bet so as well.
And it does have base, by the way. We core drilled, I don't know, down to, I think, 18 or 19 inches, and we were still in base. So it's got a good solid base there, so.
So are we prudent to propose this as change this proposal to a preliminary plat?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna give opportunity, see if there's anyone
Sure,
else.
yeah,
and
sorry.
Circle back. You good?
I'm good, yeah.
Any other questions for staff? I mean, for the applicant, I'm sorry. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against? How about discussion?
I have zero problem with this project. I think it's a preliminary plat as opposed to a final plat. And I would, ultimately right now, it doesn't matter that much, but at some point, if there's gonna be anything on that south part, or the north part, I'm sorry, if there's anything on that north part, you're gonna want the commercial. Yeah.
I agree with that. I just want to echo sentiment. I'm for the project, but I'd like to see that road widened.
That's doable. And the whole point of getting this rushed in here as quick as we could is we're hoping to start construction within the next 60 days. We have all the blueprints and plans for the building, the whole bit, ready to go. I've got a site plan somewhere. I'm in the problem. I had a flood in my home, so a lot of stuff I had ready to go got wet and is no longer available. So I've got to get it all reprinted. That happened yesterday. So yesterday was a good day. But that's where we're at. I mean, if we could move forward on starting some construction. I mean, we've already been given approval to clear the land and start that part of it, so we can get rid of the debris that's all over it. But as far as widening the road, that's not an issue.
Any thoughts on how to get them closer to being ready to break ground using?
I don't see, I mean, with you guys ready to move as quickly as you are, I don't see why they wouldn't just be able to come back here in a very short period of time with a site plan and the replat showing the roads that are required, required width on the roads and that sort of thing. And I understand that you're not gonna necessarily widen the road on a parcel that you don't own.
Right.
But that's not a whole lot different than what these guys did over on North First with their residential development.
Right.
As they developed, as they got back to their land, they widened it
Right.
to the required width, even though it's kind of a funnel as you get towards First Street there. So I think you're gonna be in a similar situation. If you don't get that other parcel, it'll just narrow down there for the meantime.
Right, because everything we're doing is from Luann towards 70 at the
Right,
moment.
right.
So, it would just make things smoother if I could do it all at one time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And our concrete guy loves us, so, we buy a lot of concrete, so.
I think, I mean, I'm not trying to propose a quick solution for you, but I do think that if this goes through as a preliminary this evening, you could come back in very short manner with a final showing those required road widths, even if you don't do anything to Lot 2 at the moment.
Right.
But that would give us the ability, I think, to recommend approval for a final, knowing that it meets our requirements.
Okay.
Versus saying that it's contingent upon, because a lot of times contingent items don't happen.
Right, it'll happen timely for sure. I get all that, so. Yeah, part of the reason for trying to do both is that there's a weird little strip on the west end that has to tie in, or none of this works. It's a tiny little sliver of earth that, I guess, so it doesn't landlock that back piece.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a, straight up from there, there's a tiny little sliver in there that, it's 12 feet or something. It's a strange little.
Yeah.
So however we have to proceed, but
Okay.
say, my job is to build a building as quickly as possible, because Tractor Supply is trying to buy that whole lot, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna pay them rent.
So they're ready to kick you out.
Yeah, well, they've been paying us rent for a long time
Ah,
now.
gotcha.
The tables are flipping and I don't wanna pay them rent, so.
Is there any discussion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve this as a preliminary plat instead of a final plat.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
Thank you. One question for you guys. Do I need to be here next Tuesday? Would it be with
I
the
don't-
regular meeting? Would it be,
I don't think it ever hurts to have someone
okay.
in case there's a question, but it's not a requirement.
Right, no, not required, just, I mean, if it would make sense to be here,
So I'll
so.
be presenting that as well, so you might want to be here.
Okay, all right. I just cover 8 states and, sometimes it's hard to get around.
Yeah,
Yep.
I get you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Planning there, Taylor.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just being realistic.
Right, no, I think I'm all about whatever I need to do.
Item number 4, new business. Any new business? Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes.